Alright, welcome. Today I thought it'd be fun to test out a couple simulators and see how they compare to their real life counterparts. As you can see, we're going to start with Hiking Simulator 2017. Why 2017? Because that's the one I own. Thank you, Steam sales. Now, walking in video games has existed almost since the beginning. I mean, you had that little paddle thing in Pong, and next thing you know, Pitfall. I don't quite go that far back, but I've been walking in video games for years. Sci-fi, fantasy, horror, western. I've walked in them all. I've even walked in a few games people have described as walking simulators. So Hiking Simulator seemed like a good place to start. And as you can see, yeah, a little pixelated, a little choppy, but hey, we're walking. Real life, on the other hand, noticeably smoother. Look at that frame rate, it's fantastic. My simulation experience did smooth out a little bit, but it was so flat, so barren. And a lot of the trees looked the same. Decent skybox though. Real life, on the other hand, it's ever changing and full of surprises. For example, that tree directly in front of me, that wasn't on the ground last time I was out here. That one a little further down the path was on the ground, but not this one. And the simulator, still just kind of wandering, looking at all that open flat space, listening to the tunes, taking in the sky. It makes me wonder, what kind of music would I prefer while wandering in my backyard? Perhaps a Doom soundtrack. It was about this point that I was kind of wondering if my neighbors were watching out their windows trying to figure out what I was doing. I did find some animals in this simulator. Although unlike real life where you just saw some tracks on the ground, here they just kind of existed. And they don't like flashlights. Why do I have a flashlight? There was one thing that I noticed during my time in the great outdoors. There appeared to be no boundaries. I turned my gaze upon the horizon, and I saw no end. On the other hand, in the simulator, there's a massive wall surrounding the tiny area. So either we're in a wormhole, or the flat earthers were correct. Back in real life, I decided it was time to explore some woods. Slip and slide down a hill, snag your hand on some thorns, living the dream. Back in the simulator, I chose a different level because I wanted to see an area that was a bit denser. And look at that, we got more trees. Still pretty flat though. This part of my yard does pretty much constantly stay flooded, so I'm glad I chose the waterproof boots and the thick woolly socks, because this could have been bad. Seriously, the most out there flat earth theories include the disk of earth surrounded by a wall keeping out monsters like this is some kind of Lovecraftian nightmare. Eventually, while exploring the woods, I came across a river. A river of hope. A river of freedom. Sorry, I love Vice City. There's also water in the walking simulator. It's water. Look at that water. Huh, apparently you can die. Alright, moving on. Next I decided to try out Reading Simulator. And here we are in this lovely library. You can see books and yeah, here we are. Lovely library. There's books. I'm clicking on the books. These books don't want to be read. More and more books. Hey, we can jump. We can jump really high. Tell you what, librarian, you'd be really upset if you're jumping table to table and jumping over tables. You're going to get shushed. So, yeah, this is a library. Now eventually, I was able to open a book, and I decided to start reading. Songs of Innocence and Songs of Experience. Piping down the valley while piping songs of pleasant glee. On a cloud I saw a child, and he is laughing said to me. There are just so many words in these books. So I put that one down and decided to try another book, but it again, just so many words. Come, said my soul, such verses for my body let us write, for we are one. However, when I tried books in real life, there were still words, but the words were funny. Plus, there were pictures. Some books even told exciting stories. Up to now, Haley had always stayed away from the middle of everything he had encountered in outer heaven. The middle crate, the middle truck. But now he had a feeling, instinct told him, that at this stage of the game, Colonel Catafee would be ringing in some changes. He thought for the first time the middle crate would be the safe one. And it was. One more time, Solid Snake's instincts had served him well. The middle crate held the rocket launcher. But in the simulator, Kate Choppin. All right. The Pope, Cardinal of Lorraine, the Emperor of Germany, Duke of Van Holt, Faustus, Valdez, friend of Faustus, Cornelius, Wagner, servant of Faustus, Clown, Robin, Ralph, Vintner. I mean, what am I supposed to gather from that? The books that I was reading in real life, they were giving me life lessons. Factors decreasing your risk of an attack. You've never seen a garden gnome, except in pictures or on TV. The books in the simulator, they never got to the point. Don Quixote. To reluctant, sad, banded in favor of person taken in long favor. Is this all an introduction? Oh my word. What's the story? Oh, okay. 4 generations of leftover donkey. This is still an introduction. Instead of mindlessly flipping pages, I was getting interesting facts in real life. Though described as 16-bit consoles, neither the Sega Mega Drive nor the Super Nintendo technically are. Going by processor power, the Mega Drive is actually 17-bit and the Super Nintendo is 19-bit. At this point, I'd pretty much given up hope on the reading simulator. A mind diseased. Your Eastern drugs, your spices, your perfumes are all in vain. And then I discovered something even more incredible. In real life, there are books that read themselves to you.
Up on the roof, Kelly watched the raptors kicking the cage, rolling it away. One raptor remained behind, turning around and around in circles like a frustrated dog. Then she saw it was the raptor that had caught its jaw in the elastic loop. The key still dangled along its cheek, glinting in the red light. The raptor jerked its head up and down, trying to get free. The Jeep came roaring forward, and the raptor seemed confused by the sudden bright lights. Thorne accelerated, trying to hit it with his car. The raptor turned and ran off, out into the plain. Kelly scrambled off the roof and headed down. Thorne threw open the door as Levine jumped into the car. "They got the kid," Levine said, pointing along the trail. Kelly was still coming down, shouting, "Wait!" Thorne said, "Get back up there. Sarah's coming. We'll get Arby." "But we can't lose them." Thorne gunned the engine and started to drive down the game trail, chasing the raptors.
Having spent tens of minutes on these two simulations and considering myself the expert of this household, I've come to the following conclusions. Walking in video games can be fun, but the simulation of walking leaves a bit to be desired, and it's hard to compete with that real-life frame rate. Reading also can be fun in a video game, but there's no Calvin and Hobbes in a video game, and that's just a deal breaker for me. I have some more simulation games I hope to make videos on in the near future. Although some of those, like Smoking Simulator and Car Theft Simulator, I don't think I'll be comparing them to real life. But hey, thank you for joining me. I hope you had as much fun as I did. And until next time, my dear friend, until next time.